Joy song. Let's go. I'm jealous. I never get that kind of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome one, welcome all to VCCDS and our Sunday services. We're so glad that you're joining us today to celebrate all the Christ qualities in ourselves and in everyone else. We have a new person in our seat today, and we'd like for that person to feel very welcome with one of our visitors packets.
She has one. She has one.
Oh, you have one? We are set up. We are ahead of time. And I'm going to ask everyone, please, as a courtesy, turn the ringtone on your mobile phones and devices to mute or vibrate, because some of you may have relatives in Florida right now and you might need to take the call, but we don't want it to disturb the service. So please do that. Let's have that enthusiasm we had for Rick for the following names. Our special musical guest today is Joy Truskowski. Doug Watts has our talk. Jane Lear. Wonderful, Dell. That's great. How about Kate Lear? We'll have our At One reading immediately.
This particular passage really resonated with me. I choose to be lighthearted. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine. Proverbs 17:22. I choose to be lighthearted. To everything in my life, I give the light touch. I'm cheerful and hopeful. I smile often. I can see the funny side. I never try to take myself or my opinions too seriously. I make friends with difficult people and trying situations by steadfastly blessing each one. I like my work, and my work likes me. A sense of humor is a saving grace. I'm grateful for the gift of laughter. I remember that all God's creatures, man alone, I remember that of all God's creatures, man alone can live. My life is full of happy surprises. I have fun just living. Easy does it is my watchword as I let the Spirit of the Lord go before me, making a smooth and safe my way. I will bless you so that you will be a blessing. Genesis 2:2. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance. Proverbs 15:13.
Thank you, Kate. Beneath your seats are your hymnals. We're going to turn those hymnals to page 63. God is love. I've given the direction of 1 through 4, but I think it has 4 verses. Is that not correct? We're going to sing all verses.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was thinking this week, at the end of the conclusion of each service, we have where we pass the prayer basket around. And you're invited to take a name and pray for that person all week. And this past week I had Judy O. She was the name I was supposed to pray for. I found that it was a real blessing to me. You see, I added her to that list of names that I pray for anyway. And I ran across this in Job 42. The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends. And the Lord increased all that Job had twofold. Well, I find that when I pray for another, that it's not twofold. I have to argue with that. It's more like threefold or fourfold. You see, it gets me out of the way of myself. It starts my day off right, communing with this divine presence. Yes, that prayer is very, very important. Will you join me now in the statement of being? You can find it in your orders of service. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joy.
Hi. This is a chant I learned from somebody here named Melanie, and I'm excited to sing it for you. And feel free to join in because I learned it here, singing it with you, and I love it. Oh,
draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. Oh, draw me, Lord. And I'll run after you. Thank you for teaching that to me.
Now's the time in our service for our healing meditation. There's no names in the prayer box this morning, but as we get comfortable, as we go within, we know that we have prayers just on the tips of our tongues. I think of the people in the way of Irma, and I think of the people that have been affected by Harvey last week. And I will not call them victims, but I'll just say that we hold them in prayer. With care. With the concerns that you have today. With what's on your heart today. I invite you just to turn that over to our God and lift your heart more towards the beauty that we see. You see, we can set aside the cares and the worries and the concerns, and we can sit gently here with a glad heart, a a soaring heart, a happy heart. God is working in our lives. All is okay. God is in control. And without me talking too much, I would like you to turn it over right now. Let your heart soar and sing as we go within for the next 90 seconds of silence. I invite you now. Father, what a welcoming relief to turn this over to you, to celebrate you. If you are on our side, who could be against us? Thank you for a glad heart. Thank you for being in our lives, Father. As we are now in a prayerful mood, will you recite the Lord's Prayer with me now? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Thou givest us this day our daily bread. Now forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Thou lead us not into temptation, but dost deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you, dear God. Beautiful day. In life, I have learned that most occupations involve sales of some sort. You know, the attorney is selling his services. And the physician is selling his services and his knowledge also. The insurance guy does too, as well as grand piano. And I've looked at this in innumerable hours and gone to so many meetings and conferences over my lifetime, and so many trade magazines and books. And these little nuggets I'm going to share with you today, they're like nuggets, gold nuggets. Let's keep them inside here. Let's don't share them too much with the outside world. I'm going to impart to you 3 golden nuggets regarding the sales prospect. The first thing you need with sales, you need, when you're talking to that person, you need to, they ask the question, do you care for me? Mr. Attorney, Mr. Physician, do you care for me? Insurance guy, do you care? If you can answer that question, you're on your way to making a client or customer. And the second one is, can you help me? That prospect wants to know, can you help me? Mr. Attorney, can you help set the trust up that I want? Or Mr. Doctor, I have a sore throat, can you help me with that? Or insurance guy, can you help me with my auto coverage? Or grand piano, I'm sleeping a little rough, can you help me with a new mattress? Well, these are golden nuggets. And the third is, can I trust you? Can I trust you? If I can't trust you, I can't do business with you. But if I can trust you, we can do business. Well, what I want to talk to you about today, and to go into a little detail, not too much, is the issue of trust. What is trust? It's such a hard concept to gather around. What is trust? Well, trust is defined as the belief in the strength or reliability of someone or something. It still leaves me a little bit uneasy or uncertain about what trust is. So let's use some examples and see if we can come to some kind of conclusions. Tomorrow, as most of you know, is the anniversary of September the 11th. September the 11th, 2001. We used to have the Twin Towers until that day. Everyone remembers. It was about 8:48 in the morning when the first tower was hit by the plane. 15 minutes later, another tower was hit. 2,976 lives were lost inside those towers. But, you know, it's kind of surprising that's all that did die that day. You see, the towers on any given day had between them 50,000 people worked in there. They made those their offices. And they had visitors of 140,000 people a day. More than the population of Roanoke and Roanoke County. 140,000 people each day. Well, on that day, after it happened, President George Bush came out, and we heard him later that day. He said, this was an act of terror. We all heard that. And then the next day, he did a televised conference, TV show, he addressed the nation. He said, this was an act of terror. And not only an act of terror, but an act of war. And when I heard those words, my ears picked up. An act of war. And I'm sure in the boardrooms in Hartford, Connecticut, New York, London, Switzerland, the insurance industry, the insurance professionals listened also. You see, an act of war on the back of every business policy, on the back of your auto policy, your homeowner's policy, your renter's policy, a commercial fire policy. On the back of every policy is an exclusion for an act of war, whether declared or undeclared. The insurance industry had a free go on this one. They could say, oh, he declared an act of war. We don't have to do anything. Contractually, we're removed from this. We don't have to do anything. Well, they got a memo from the National Institute of Insurance, and the guy said, y'all might want to look at this a little bit more. You see, they were talking, the titans of the industry were talking with each other from Switzerland to London to the US. And they knew if they did not cover this event, the American people would lose confidence and, more importantly, trust in that product, the insurance product. So they knew they had to cover it. They had an out. They didn't have to. $39.4 billion later, they did regain the trust of the American public. It was the largest global insurance loss ever. $39.4 billion, and they didn't really have to pay a penny. But they did because of the trust issue. Now this goes on and gets a little bit more convoluted even. Larry Silverstein, who had just bought the buildings, those 2 towers, 6 weeks earlier, he had contracted with an insurance broker out of New York called Willis. And I'm sure when he bought these buildings, he probably had a bank of lawyers, don't you think? Dotting every I, and crossing every T, probably hundreds of documents, and hundreds of pages in the documents on the closing of this. You've closed on your house, you know how many documents there are to sign. Well, this was a $3.8 billion transaction. Oh, there must have been so many I's and so many T's. Well, this is just amazing. The insurance that was placed on this $3.8 billion investment was one sheet of paper, just one sheet of paper. At the top it has insurance binder. I use them in my office, insurance binder. And what you do on the left side, you say, you check a box that says, do I want broad, form, special? Do I want all risk? And you check that. Then you put the address beside it. Then you put amount of coverage, 3.8 billion. Then you put the deductible, probably 100,000 in their instance. And then at the bottom of it, it says, subject to all conditions of the regularly issued policies. This was a $3.8 billion transaction, and there was no policy in place. Oh, we're back to that trust issue, aren't we? We're back to the trust issue. You see, the New York insurance broker had gathered together about 10 or 11 companies to handle this. It was too big for any one company. A company out of Switzerland, Swiss Re, took 25% of it. And the rest was divided among some U.S. carriers like Chubb and Select and several others. But no one had issued a policy yet. This all had to be worked out. And there again, they stepped forward. With this thing, we can hardly understand, we can't really grasp trust. They reconfirmed their trust to the American public. $3.8 billion they paid this man. And they didn't even have a policy in place. Trust, it's the belief in the strength or reliability of something or someone. Now, many of y'all might watch TV, and you watch this channel, HGTV. It's a Canadian channel. I don't watch it, but it deals with home improvement and gardening. I probably should watch it, but I don't. And I understand one of the stars on this program is a couple by the name of Chip and Joanna Gaines. They're out of Waco, Texas. Probably some of you all know this. And they have a company they call Magnolia Realty. And then another company they call Magnolia Homes. What they do, they have a program that's called Fixer Upper. And they buy homes, they fix them up, they flip them. You know, you've heard that term. Well, Chip is more or less the construction guy involved. He more or less runs the Magnolia Homes. Joanna, she's the design expert. And together they make a pretty good team. Well, this was several, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had heard, though I don't watch the program, I had heard that their marriage might be in trouble. Oh, Scoba. Oh, me. I always hate to hear that. And I heard people talking about it, you know, out in public when I was out around people. You could hear women sometimes going, did you hear about the Fixer Upper? They might be headed for trouble. And I hate to hear things like that. And then Chip came out with a statement. He said he's going to make a statement. I thought, oh, I can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear about this. And he said, oh, I've only got one word for this. I thought, oh, this is great. He's going to say, I love her. This is great. He said, we stay together because we trust each other. My one word is trust. I thought, really? That's it? Trust. Trust. This belief in something reliable or strong, in someone or something. I'm going to share a personal story. It's not really too flattering on myself. This past summer, I thought, you know, it would be so much fun to go ziplining. Oh, to be up there in the treetops ziplining with the squirrels and the birds. I can't wait to do that. Oh, let's go find a zip place. I want to do that so bad. To be right at the very top of the trees. Well, I found a place and went, and you get to this tower, and you have to walk all the way up the tower, up and up and up, and you get to the top, and you're looking around, and you are up above the trees. And you have a harness on, and they have this cable that stretches from here to way over there to another tower. And you have some guides with you, some instructors, and they're very helpful. And they put the zip up on the line. And they just sort of place it up there. And I thought, aren't you going to put bolts or something? Let's fix this thing real good. Oh, no. Gravity and your weight will help keep it on. I think, oh, no. We need bolts to do that. This needs to be on there good. Well, I had some other people with me, some younger people. Zip off they took. It looked so much fun. And I had forgotten when I lined this whole trip up that I'm afraid of heights. I am so afraid of heights. And I'm looking down, and I'm up with the birds indeed. And we're talking trust here. I saw the instructor, he was a little heavier than me, I don't know, 230 pounds, and he jumped out and the cable went swaying as he went. Oh, me. Is it going to stay on? And somehow he made it over to the other tower. Way away, you can hardly see it. And it was my turn to go next. And I did. I said, under my breath so no one else would hear, I said, God help me. God help me. And I had to jump. Trust. Well, of course, I did make it to where I'm going to be standing here. I made it to the next tower. And there were 8 more to do. 8 more of those wonderful towers to do. Trust. Trust in a belief in something reliable and strong. And that's what I have to do. In Mark 5, Jesus is coming back from, he'd been over on the shorelines of the Sea of Galilee, and he's coming back from the shorelines of Galilee, this small lake. And as he comes to the surface there, he comes to the landing, Jairus meets him there. Jairus was a leader of the synagogue. And Jairus says, oh, Jesus, you've got to help me. My daughter's sick. She's dying. You've got to help me. And Jesus says, surely, I'll go with you. He knew this man. So with him he took Peter, James, and John, and off they went walking to the house of Jairus. And as they were walking, a lady who had been bleeding and hemorrhaging for 12 years was on that way. And she knew Jesus was coming. And the crowds were all around him, sort of jostling and pushing him. And she thought to herself, if I can just get close enough to touch him, to touch his robe, I'll be healed. If I can just get close enough. I trust. If I can get close enough, I have the faith. If I get close enough, I can be healed. And as Jesus walked by her, she reached out and touched his robe. And she was healed. And Jesus went just a bit further and he stopped. He said, "Who touched me?" He felt the power go out of him. He said, "Who touched me?" Well, the apostles there said, "Oh, no, no, it's just the throng of people around you." He said, "No, someone touched me." "Who touched me?" And she went up to him and she fell at his feet. She said, "It was me. It was me. I touched you. I've been sick for 12 years. I've spent all my money. You can look at my skin. I'm sick. Now I'm healed." And Jesus said, "Daughter, arise. You're healed. Go in peace." She had that trust, that faith that so hard to say what it is, so hard to grasp hold of. She had that trust where she felt like all she had to do was touch and she'd be healed, and she was. Well, Jesus went on to the house of Jairus. And before he got there, he heard some others talking. And they came and they told Jairus, they said, "There's no need to go now. Your daughter's dead. There's no need to take the teacher now to bother him anymore." And Jesus overheard him. He said to Jairus, "Don't believe him. Trust me. Trust me. Your daughter's just died, but trust me. Trust me." Imagine what that would take. Trust me. Jesus did go into the house, and everyone was crying, of course. And Jesus ushered them outside, said, "Everyone leave." And he took Jairus and his wife and the apostles into the bedroom where this little girl lay. And he said to her, "Get up, little girl. Get up." And she arose. And he said, "Get her something to eat." Trust. Trust. I was thinking about this week. Trust is such a hard concept to gather, to get. And I was thinking about trust and the fact that God does not come to the door and kick the door down. He knocks gently at the door. And we open the door prayerfully to commune with this divine presence. You see, I think trust has to be earned more than once. It's not a one-time thing. We learn trust through that prayer, that communion we have with God. In this church, week after week, we learn about the omnipresence of God. And we trust in that. We know that. It's like if we walked into a darkened room and we flipped the light on. Well, we know the light's going to come on and the room will be bright. We've learned that over a period of time. We trust that we flip the switch, that light will come on. And trust is earned the same way. It's what we learn by our communion in prayer with God. That's the important part. So I'll take you back to where we first started. Can I trust you? Can I trust you, God? Can I trust you? And we know that answer, don't we? Yes. 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 Will you go in prayer with me now? God, thank you for knocking on the door. Thank you that we get to open the door, and that we learn and we understand that prayer brings us closer to you. Thank you for those names we draw out of the prayer basket each Sunday, that repeatedly we get out of our own way. We learn to trust you more and more and more. And it is in Christ's nature. Amen.
Amen.
I was going to sing one thing and I changed my mind because I was inspired by what Doug said. And I've played this, I think I've played this for you before. This is a song I wrote called Sunny Day. And it's about facing hardship and having that trust that the sunny day is going to return. And there's a lot of pain going on in a lot of lives right now, not just with the hurricanes, but just people I know personally and struggles going on. And so it's the stormy day right now, and this song's trusting that the sunny day is going to return and that we're going to get through it and we're going to come out stronger and more compassionate and bound together through our struggles. Feel free to sing along if you want. That helps. Sunny day, you come back to me, don't change my life, you can change it later maybe. Don't run away, I'm not ready for the sudden wave, the weather's changing lately. It seems like the whole world is going crazy. Sunrise, sunset, keep moving till tomorrow. Stormy day, the thunder shakes our hearts, but nature needs to do some rearranging. Come what may, just embrace the change. The one thing we can trust is that we're changing. And even this great storm will stop its raging. Sunrise, sunset, keep moving till tomorrow. Sunny day, you came back to me, you changed my life, but I think my heart grew bigger. Come and stay, and then you'll have to leave. I know you must move I'm gonna do a shameless marketing plug now. I'm working on a new CD, I'm almost done with it. It'll be done hopefully by the end of the month, but I have a sign-up list here if you want information about it when it comes out. You just give me your email and then I'll send you an email with a free song, free download, kind of like a preview, so if you're interested you can sign up on my list.
Cool.
You can trust me.
Joy Truskowski, we trust you so much that you are the only individual that I've seen here in years who can get away with bare feet during the service. There's no problem with trust. We have no problem with generosity at the church, and this is the time where we show it. It is the blessing of the gifts time. If the usher would please bring the baskets up, knowing that everything that's possible here at the church is through your contributions. I know this by heart, but I'm going to read it. After me, please. Today, I acknowledge God as the source of all good, With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I may solve thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the precious gift that I have. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
I'm going to pass the prayer basket now. I got Judy out last week. Let's see who you can get this week.
Good morning, afternoon, I think it is now. Pretty much close to it. First off, I want to thank the 11 or 12 people that came out yesterday. They helped with the pallets. This was a short notice. As some of you know, we can go to Wanda's place of work and stack these crates and get some money for the church. So it was a short notice and we ended up having like 11 or 12 people. So I thank all of you that came out. We worked really hard, had a good time, got dirty. Some of us got dirty. Well, Rick got his hands dirty, but he still didn't get that shirt dirty. I don't understand. It's a secret there. Anyhow, we had a really great time. Thanks to Pam Woods over here. She said the first time we did 50 pallets. Then we did 55. She said, we're going to do 60. Well, she pushed us. Yeah, we did 63 pallets, 64 pallets yesterday. So yes, $256 for the trip. And then we had, from the picnic that we had on Monday, after we paid Kate for what she bought, we had $100 left over. So our fundraiser now has $356 in it. So we're on the way to the $10,000. Again, I thank all the ones that came out yesterday and helped. I don't care if it wasn't but for an hour or 10 minutes or whatever you were there. We appreciate it. But we always have a good time. And according to what we were told yesterday, we can do this again for the next few months, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we will be getting another date probably in October, and we'll get together and we'll go do it all over again. So, and the more people we have, the faster we can get done. So anyhow, we'll be pushing for some other people to come help us. Let's see. Also, we had a hike and we had a bike ride scheduled in 2 weeks, September the 23rd. We changed it to a hike and lunch because we really want everybody that can come do these things. So we don't want to just do something that one or two or three people can do. So the purpose of having these events is so that as many people as can. So we're going to do a hike. We haven't we're going to do the Greenway, but we haven't decided where on the Greenway yet. So the events people, which is now consist of Kate and Pam and Wendy. They're all, so we have 3 events people. So we'll get together and figure out when this, but I'll announce that next week for sure as to where we're going. Also, next Sunday is potluck Sunday after church, so be sure to bring something for that. Tomorrow night, Nancy starts her Divine Science class again. You want to say anything about it?
Well, it's been a while since we've been in class. But luckily, class number 4, which is lessons 7 and 8 in the book, in your printed lessons, is a review. So we're going to actually do the review first and then do lesson 7. So the review is lesson 8. So please just, read whatever you can in lessons 7 and 8, and we will go over them. And so, back in the saddle again.
What time?
At 6:30.
6:30.
6:30. And if you haven't been coming, you're welcome to come and sit in, even if you haven't read it, or, we always have lots of discussion, and it's always really great, so please come.
Okay, and let's see. This week's flowers are given by Marita for Emily's birthday, so we thank you, Marita, for that. Also, we printed out in the order of service the list of stuff that we've taken up for the Oak Grove School. This is an ongoing project that we are doing all the time now. So please take this list home. We have a box in the foyer out there and one also in the annex. So I know Martha's already taken 2 boxes of food over there. So this is an ongoing project for the kids at Oak Grove that are in need. They have 38 kids over there this year. And I know all the schools in the city and the county have this, but since Oak Grove is so close to us, we have taken them on as a project for ourselves. So also, we're still collecting the toilet paper rolls and paper towel rolls, and they use those for the art stuff. So continue to bring those, and if you have any questions about this, let me know, and we'll see if we can answer them for you. Also, just wanted to say, we said before about fundraisers. If you have any suggestions, I know Tammy gave me one this morning. I'll put it on the list. We probably won't do a whole lot after the first of the year because I know the holidays are coming up. But I think maybe there's going to be one in October. Marita, I don't know if you've got anything to say about that today. You want to wait and make? Okay.
The church anniversary is 38, I think. 38 years in this church. The church anniversary is going to be on the 16th of October. On the 15th of October, there's going to be a dinner at 3101 Tomaran Drive, which is our home, and we are going to do a very elegant dinner, which will be a fundraiser for the things that need to be done in the church, painting and so forth and so on. So I hope you will think in terms of that. I won't talk about the menu yet, but we have in mind mimosas to start.
I'm there.
And orange juice for those who would rather not. But it will be a most elegant dinner, and the chefs will be very expert, and nobody will regret being there.
As most of you know, we had, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we did the one at the brunch after church for the anniversary, and it was, if all of y'all went, you know how good it was. So anyhow, I'm looking forward to this one also. So anyhow, I don't know if we're going to know the menu ahead of time or if it was going to be a surprise or whatever, but we'll be talking about that between now and the middle of October. So. Saturday night. Okay. Also, the last Sunday of this month, we're having a blessing of the animals. We didn't have that last year. We did something different. So we're going to have it in the garden out here, but we passed the information on to a lot of people who didn't want a whole service and with the music and everything, so we passed that on. So we're probably going to change it up some, and we'll have blessing of the animals in the yard on the last Sunday of the month, and hopefully, I trust it's not going to rain. So, and if it does, we will have a sermon in here. So I think that's all for today. That's enough, right?
time for your final hymn. The melody is, of course, the classic Blessed Assurance, but it is called in Divine Science Confident Living. It's on page number 83. Please turn to page 83. And God bless you. God bless you. We're doing 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 83.